Welcome to Songwriters from Here and Away. This show we have Washboard Hank coming to us from Ontario. And while I wanted to have the washboard featured, there was a bit of a wrinkle. And I think you'll like the show regardless of no washboard. Hi, Hank. Thanks for coming to
Hey,
Songwriters from Here and Away. I have you out in Peterborough via Zoom, and thanks for kicking around with us today. How are you doing out there in Ontario?
oh, it's pretty good. It's very, very good. It's kind of wet and slushy and miserable. So I'm hoping to go south as soon as I can. What can I say?
Good for you. Me, me too. I hope to do that too. We've got Halifax weather, which is up and down and in and out all year long. So uh, I met you when we were on tour. My wife and I were on tour in Peterborough a few years back. And I had heard about you and seen you online and all that kind of thing. And I remember seeing you at a little pub downtown, and you were playing with Brent and your wife, I believe. Was
Yes.
it a little trio? And I heard some of your original songs, and you have a couple of personas, and I really found that entertaining. And I love
Yeah.
to see the show that you do. Today, you're not kind of taking on that persona because you mentioned you had a sore shoulder to deal with.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, I picked up the washboard the wrong way, and it weighs 40 pounds. Something went snap, crackle, and pop. And
right.
so,
Frozen shoulder, torn ligaments, and all that, and you
yeah,
had to have,
yeah,
yeah, so you're recovering from the operation. Well,
just a ligament. Yeah.
and that's the Washboard Hank is one side of your existence and your show. Do you do on your original music, on your non-washboard life? Maybe tell us a little bit about that too.
Well, I started into music as a songwriter. Actually, I wrote some songs, and I didn't even know how to play. But my friend Reverend Ken, he went out and was playing around these songs, and everyone said, "Wow, that's a great song. That's a great song. Who wrote that?" And so I got drawn into the music business because I was curious to see the effect of my words on an audience. And so I found a washboard one day and played it with a bottle cap, and I sang high harmony to Reverend Ken, and so that was how we got started. And so songwriting has been a part of it right from the very start.
Right from the get-go, eh? Yeah. And
Hmm.
I know that you have a few albums out. How much have you been recording over the years?
Well, I haven't been doing much lately, but I've got a project in mind called Songs of the Peterborough, and I'm here in Peterborough, and I love it here, and it's been a musical hotbed for 200 years, and I have decided that I'm just going to do a song that's or do a record that's all about Peterborough things, and I
A,
don't
con-
know.
a
I don't know if
concept
it's going to
album
make
kind of
sense
thing.
to anybody that's from more than 10 miles away, but it's going to be okay for Peterborough.
Well, that's great. Concept albums and theme albums are a very good thing to do, I think. Well,
Hmm.
do you want to play one of the songs from that you've
Well,
got going?
here's a song that I like to start my shows with. It kind of after more than 40 years, I decided to write a song about being a musician, because usually that's the first thing that they write songs about. So
Right.
here's a song about my career as a musician thus far. Well, for more than 40 years, I've been playing across this nation. I guess I lost my chance to be an overnight sensation. All my coulda, shoulda, wouldas, they never rolled my way. But I'm big time in the small time, I'm doing A-OK. Yes, I'm big time in the small time, I'm doing A-OK. I love what I do, and all I do is play. I'm living like a millionaire on a fraction of the pay. I'm big time in the small time, I'm doing A-OK. Down at the old folks' homes, I get a lot of laughs, and I like showing children how to walk creative paths. At the honky tonks or picnics, you can see me play. I'm big time in the small time, I'm doing A-OK. Yes, I'm big time in the small time, I'm doing A-OK. I love what I do, and all I do is play. I'm living like a millionaire on a fraction of the pay. I'm big time in the small time, I'm doing A-OK. When October comes around, we play Oktoberfest. And when it comes to Christmas, they say our show is best. We really spread the blarney when it comes St. Patrick's Day. I'm big time in the small time, I'm doing A-OK. Yes, I'm big time in the small time, I'm doing A-OK. I love what I do, and all I do is play. I'm living like a millionaire on a fraction of the pay. I'm big time in the small time, I'm doing A-OK. Well, my wife, she really loves me, and I just paid off my van. And anyone you ask will say that I'm an honest man. Wealth and fame and glory just quickly fades away, but I'm big time in the small time, I'm doing A-OK. Yes, I'm big time in the small time, I'm doing A-OK.
Oh, that's great. I love that. I live that too. At
Yeah,
some point, you have to realize that you may or may not get a brass ring out of the deal, but you can always enjoy playing music, right? Wherever you are.
I sure do.
Yeah.
And I do love playing Oktoberfest. Or tonight it's Robbie Burns Day today. Ach,
Right.
hi.
That's
And
right.
so I'm going to go out and sing some Scottish songs tonight later on, because I think music it's part of the world, and my job is to play music, and you know, and it's been that way for 40,000 years, I think. And so I feel very blessed to be a musician, and I just want to be appropriate for any situation.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah. And that's the blessing of learning lots of cover tunes and also having your original tunes, because then you've got your songs that speak from your heart, and you can choose from all the list of cover tunes that you may want to do and find something suitable that kind of fits the room or fits the
Yes.
gig. Eh? Yeah, yeah. I was just thinking about the Oktoberfest and that kind of thing. I remember your other persona, as I'm calling it, your washboard Hank. To explain to the audience, you've got a washboard with all sorts of bells and whistles on it. Plus, I loved the hat. Was it a construction hard hat with a symbol on it and stuff?
Hmm.
Yeah, and the way I was very impressed with your ability to integrate all those pieces and not have it be overbearing or too cliche, like, or too silly, right? And I mean, humorous and fun and silly sometimes because you need to. But I just really appreciated the depth of artistry that you use.
Yeah. Well, I try to I play a bit of five-string banjo, and I like to put five-string banjo technique into my washboard playing, in doing rolls and having one melody note but other fill notes, and the whole thing. I'm very serious about it,
Yeah.
and people think that's the funniest thing they've ever seen.
Well,
Keep a serious face while you're doing something ridiculous.
that's interesting because the five string banjo, you're using your fingers and you're flailing and you're picking and you're rolling all these things, and I can see because you have thimbles on your tips of your fingers for the washboard, eh? And that really makes a definite sound, right? And rhythmic and melodically too, even. Yeah. So, and I noticed that you have done workshops and you've done the washboard, like the washboard king of the world here. Are you going to be going out and doing that if your shoulder comes up this
Oh yeah,
summer? Are you going to be out doing that?
there's a washboard festival in Logan, Ohio, which is the home of the Columbus Washboard Company, and I've been playing that for a number of years. And I'm pretty much the sergeant major of the whole situation, and I MC, and I have a lot of fun parading around and playing washboards. And since I've done that, in 10 years, the number of washboard players that now have hard hats with cymbals and bells on them has increased like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, you could have to get a an endorsement from like a Home Depot or something.
Oh, I do have an endorsement actually from Canadian Woodenwares, and you can go to any Long and McQuaid and order a Canadian Woodenware Harmony washboard that is endorsed by Washboard Hank.
Fantastic. All right. Well,
Yeah.
man, I got to tell you before we go to the next tune, I think that all the listeners and viewers should go check out your YouTube channel and search Washboard Hank on YouTube and check out the videos because it is really, really, really great and well
Yeah,
worth.
and we're on
diving.
Spotify too if you want to just hear the sound.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, do you want to do another song for us?
Okay, here's a song that I got to spend time with my grandfather working on his farm, and this was a song that was inspired by the farm, and my family are pretty straight and religious, and so this was a way for me to say, well, I'm a musician, and this is what I wrote about, and it's about us, so like it or lump it. And actually, they liked it. There's a 100-acre field on the top of the hill. I worked it when I was 12, and I'm working it still. My wife's in the house in the valley down below, darning my socks and scrubbing the floor. But I'm out on the tractor for the earth to till, in the 100-acre field on the top of the hill, way up in the field where the clouds hold free. Tractor and the plow and the dog and me. When the sun gets up to the middle of the sky, I'll call the old dog and I'll say goodbye to the 100-acre field, but we'll be back soon. Dinner on the table when it gets too noon. We get all kinds of food grown on our land, but I can't have nothing till I wash my hands. Take the old basin and I'll go to the sink, wash with her water with the sweet to drink. Hey, well, after the meal, I'll take my rest on the couch by the stove with a cat in my chest. It's an ordinary life, it's an ordinary day. Smile at the wife till I make my way. Out on the tractor for the earth to till, in the 100-acre field on the top of the hill, way up in the field where the clouds float free. Tractor and the plow and the dog and me. Now when I grow old and I wither and I die, won't you plant my body on a hill up high? I don't like the valley, though it's fine for the wife, but I'd rather spend my death where I spent my life. Out on the tractor for the earth to till, in the 100-acre field on the top of the hill, way up in the field where the clouds float free. Tractor and the plow and the dog and me. Hey,
Ha, that's great. That's a bouncer. So,
yeah, that's it's based on an old tune, The Little Beggar Boy or The Red-Haired Boy.
okay.
But
So, when you do your writing, so this tune, for instance, you took some of the inspiration from a classic tune. Is that often what you do, or where do you come from on the writing and the inspirational end of it?
I always write the words first, and I find the melody suggests itself through the rhythm of the words. And I wouldn't say that I have super, 3-chord songs, maybe 4 chords,
Yeah.
but it was good enough for Hank Williams, good enough for me.
Yeah, that's great. I think that it's easy to overcomplicate songs, and I'm guilty of it when I write sometimes. And it's good for us to cut back and even try to write 2-chord songs.
Well, I'm interested in the tradition of songwriting, and one thing that I've always been interested in was murder ballads. So, because, now we have CNN where you can turn it on and find out this shopping center got blown apart and 7 people, 10 people, whatever. And back in the day, when that happened, they would write a song about it.
Right, and it would go from bard to bard and get spread around through people singing the song.
And here in Peterborough, there was a murder most foul of a greeter at the local Walmart. Her name was Lise Fredette, and she was a lovely lady, and she was about 73 years old, and she had a boyfriend who was 82 years old, and the boyfriend murdered her, and the whole thing came up in the Peterborough This Week, which is the free paper that's full of advertising and a little bit of story.
Right.
So I took this story and I made it into a murder ballad, and I contacted the family of Lise Fredette, and I said, "Is this okay? Can I play this song?" And they said, "By all means."
Right.
And you'll realize there's a reason for me playing this song, and it's because the body was never found. And so the reason for me singing this song is to keep it in people's mind, and hopefully her body will be found.
So the family can get some closure, which is always the biggest
Meanwhile,
issue
the guy that killed her has been sent to prison and he's died, so we don't know if we'll ever find her.
Man.
Here's a murder ballad I wrote called The Death of Lise Fredette. Come listen while I tell you of the death of Lise Fredette. She was murdered by Andrew Watson, and they haven't found her yet. On the 12th of November, 2014, she left her job at Walmart, never more to be seen. She left her job at Walmart, never more to be seen. Now Watson was a jealous man Fredette could not control. He haunted her and taunted her till he put her in a hole. Her blood was on his shovel, her blood was in his car. He took her and he buried her somewhere near, somewhere far. He took her and he buried her somewhere near, somewhere far. By the evidence found guilty, but still he wouldn't say where he buried Fredette's body, where she lies this very day. The judge said, for your crime, you're gonna be put away. And he asked him where the body was, but still he wouldn't say. He asked him where the body was, but still he wouldn't say. Then the family made a statement for the mother they had lost, and how for Watson's cruelty they had paid an awful cost. But Watson would not listen, he only turned away. And then he took out his hearing aid so he couldn't hear what they'd say. And then he took out his hearing aid so he couldn't hear what they'd say. I don't know if there's a heaven, but I sure hope there's a hell for men like Andrew Watson who deserve it very well.
Ah, yeah, a classic murder ballad for sure. Have you put that on tape?
No, not yet. That'll be one of the Peterborough songs.
Right, part of the theme album.
Yep.
Excellent.
And here's another Peterborough song. I used to know this guy that worked at the Canada Packers, which was right on the river here in Peterborough. There's a river that runs through Peterborough called the Otonabee. And they used to slaughter pigs there. And the place didn't smell very good.
They usually
don't. It was right in the middle of town. Eventually it was replaced by a Holiday Inn, but I'm getting ahead of myself. What they would do is anything they couldn't use, they throw into the river. And the Otonabee River had a huge population of carp, because the carp would eat this pig stuff, and they got really big. And Peterborough became known as the carp capital of the world. You could get the biggest carp here. And I remember seeing them, and they were like pigs in the water. They were huge. And here's a song about a pig that escaped from the Canada Packers before he became food for a carp. On the banks of the river stood an old slaughterhouse where many a pig lost its life. In horror they'd squeal when their necks felt the steel and the gore of the killing floor knife. There was a fine pig, so pink and so big, that came up from Marmora by train to this slaughterhouse grim, where the chances were slim that she'd wallow or frolic again. Oh, the Marmora pig, yes, the Marmora pig, you'll not get no bacon from a Marmora pig. Well, her heart filled with fear as her death it drew near, and the line down the chute ever smaller. But the killing knife missed when she jumped with a twist and escaped midst the squeals and the hollers. Now she ran right upstairs, over desk, over chairs, right into the big boss's sanctum, where his windows stood wide, so out it she flied, leaving a turd on his floor there to thank him. Oh, the Marmora pig, yes, the Marmora pig, you'll not get no bacon from a Marmora pig. And now for a brief recap of our song, Prize Pig from Marmora taken to slaughterhouse, escapes death, takes a dump, and jumps out the window. Now back to our song. 3 stories she flew, straight down to the blue of the river that flowed there below. And she swam clear away, and the people all say, back to Marmora was where she did go. Now I like my bacon, but I don't care to know just how it got there on my table. If a pig can elude being made into food, I say, run away if you're able. Like the Marmora pig, oh, the Marmora pig, you'll not get no bacon from a Marmora pig. Oh, the Marmora pig, yes, the Marmora pig, you'll not get no bacon from a Marmora pig.
Ha! All right, that's Washboard Hank. We are doing this remotely. He's in Peterborough, Ontario, and he has a green screen behind him, and I get to see lovely pictures that he's got behind him. And if you go online, we will have some of those videos of this artwork to show off too. So here he is, Washboard Hank. Hank, you're on a green screen. You've got your backdrops. Can you tell us a little bit about this artwork that you've got here?
Oh, this is Zipolite, Mexico. It's a place down on the west coast of Mexico, pretty close to the border down south. And it's a place I love going to. And I'm just aching to go there. I think maybe within 10 days I'll be there. And we play on the street there. And we make enough money to possibly buy a bottle of whiskey now and then.
Yeah.
And the great thing about Zipolite is that it's a nude beach. And it's about 2 kilometers of nude beach. And I mean, if you don't have to wear clothes, they can't steal your money. And they also can't hide their guns.
That's right.
It's pretty safe, all told. I have a little song about Zipolite. Way down in old Zipolite, she got sunburn on her Nipolite. Way down in old Zipolite, he got sunburn all over his meat. Now when you see a nudist, you feel like you are a Buddhist. Again and again and again, they all look exactly the same. Way down in old Zipolite, she got sunburn on her Nipolite. Way down in old Zipolite, he got sunburn all over his meat. I greet all the girls with a grin, and I suck my beer belly in. It's not a very good trick. I can't talk 'cause my neck is so thick. Way down in in old Zapolite. She got sunburn on her Napolite. Way down in old Zapolite. He got sunburn all over his meat.
You know, that's great. There's something about a 2-minute song, or maybe even shorter. I don't know that
Yeah.
you can say a lot with just a few words.
Yeah, well, that was based on the Carnival of Venice. I don't know if you noticed, but you know, a lot of my things, you know, like words come in and the melody suggests itself, and then months later, I hear the Carnival of Venice, and I said, "That's what it was."
Yeah, and that's not uncommon. I mean, we've all seen the plagiarism lawsuits by people, and it's a subconscious thing, you know, these melodies, and there's only so many notes you can play, anyways, right? But it happens. There's nothing you can do about it. Hey, Hank, we're going to take a short pause, and we'll be right back with Washboard Hank on Songwriters from Here and Away. Thanks for listening. Yeah, so we can go wherever you want. Are you okay, Benj? Everything good?
I'm good. Everything.
Cool.
I got another couple songs I'd like to do.
Sure, man. Yeah, and I've got. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on the time, and yeah, we could do a couple more stints. You know, filling up an hour with radio is a trick. So we've done 4 songs. So yeah, we can do maybe 3 more tunes, 4 more, whatever you're comfortable with. If we drop 1 or 2, or depends, you know, how the conversation versus the music goes.
No, it's all good.
So welcome back to Songwriters from Here and Away. We've got Washboard Hank all the way from Peterborough, Ontario, in our virtual room. And Hank, I saw on your website, which is washboardhank.net, by the way, washboardhank.net. I see that you've done a lot of TV stuff. That must have been a lot of fun.
Oh, it was. Yeah, we played the Tommy Hunter show 3 times. That was back with Reverend Ken and the Lost Followers, and that was great. And I did a lot of children's music, and so I was on Mr. Dress Up, Sharon Lois and Bram, Shining
Right.
Time Station, and I think one of the things got played on Sesame Street as well.
Oh,
So I
fantastic.
had quite a lot of fun doing kids music.
Right.
That-
Yeah. And that's a lovely market. I mean, I've written songs for children's stuff and sent them off to Rafi and some other people, and you know, there's a real market for that, for the songwriter, if you have the talent and can get in there. What was it like being on those shows? Like, was it just a one spot deal, or?
Oh, it was pretty nice, all told. The nicest guy, though, I will say, on a scale of 1 to 10, Mr. Dress Up was 10. He
Is
was
that
just
right?
absolutely a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
Really,
yeah.
really nice. And that wasn't an act. Where
No.
you can't really say that about the other guys.
Is that right? Yeah. Well, and you know, a lot of us Canadians up here watched that, and it was pretty strong in our childhood. And I know even my kid, who's now 30, watched.
Well,
all those.
I have one kid song that I'm very proud of, and I'd like to play it if I could.
Oh yeah, sure, that'd be great. Please do.
Well, I'm me, I'm the one and only me. Ain't no one can be anything just like me. I'm me, I'm the one and only me. And you're you, you're the one and only you. There ain't no one can do anything just like you. 'Cause you're you, you're the one and only you. Where we will be happy as can be. 'Cause I'll let you be you if you let me be me. Where we will be happy as can be.
Yeah. It's writing kids songs is actually a lot tougher than you think sometimes, because you have to really pay attention to the delivery and how it would be received, right?
I had I wrote one called Chompy the Head Biter Offer that the kids loved and the parents hated.
Yeah,
So that
yeah,
was the beginning of my decline in the children's entertainment business.
yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Hey, on another thought, I was just thinking about uh, on your bio, is something about you created a kitchen sink tuba.
Oh,
I
yes.
got to hear about this a little more. I got to understand what that was all about.
Well, okay, here's the whole story. When
Okay.
I was 19, my wife at the time left me a note in the frying pan saying, "Our marriage is over. I'm leaving. There's liver for supper." And so I didn't want to eat liver, so I went up to the nearest Chinese restaurant, and I had Canton chow mein, and that felt better. And on my way home, I was cutting through alleyways, and I saw this tuba case at the end of the alleyway, so I started to run. Oh, I forgot to say, after the Canton chow mein, I got a fortune cookie that says, "Do not despair, for you will be happy."
Ah,
And so I see this tuba case, and I think, holy shit, a tuba. I'm going to play a tuba. And so I ran down the alleyway and opened it up, and it was full of human hair. But nonetheless, the idea of playing a tuba was in my head. And about 4 years later, I'm driving through a blizzard from Ottawa, and I see this shiny thing in a snowbank, and of course it just clicks. Look, somebody's thrown out a tuba. And so I stop the car and run back, and here it's a stainless steel sink, and I pick it up, and I think, oh, this is light. It's not as heavy as it looks. I can make this into a tuba. So I got 16 feet of PBS tubing, and I got a tuba mouthpiece, and I put her on, and I played the Flintstones right out of nowhere.
is
And so
that
that was
right?
the genesis of the kitchen sink tuba, also known as the fallopian tuba.
Do you have any recordings of that anywhere?
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
I have on Hooray for Washboard Hank. I love you, Queen Elizabeth, because you wear stupid hats. It has a beautiful tuba break in it.
Well, you know what I'll do, Hank? I'll go download that. I'll buy it wherever I get it and take an excerpt from that so that people can hear the
And
tuba.
and in Human Beings, I think it's on a couple songs. The My
Great.
Pie by Willie P. Bennett, and also the cartoon Swing.
Yeah. Hey,
So
thinking of Willie P. Now, there's a guy. You've played with a few people along the way. Do a who's who and toot your horn about who you've performed with. Some of the other
well,
songwriters.
I did play with Fred Eaglesmith for 4 years, and that was quite good. We started out with Fred, Ralph, Willie, and I, and I was Willie's roommate for the whole 4 years, and he was a wonderful guy, and we became very, very good friends, and we'd have wonderful philosophical talks.
Right.
And sometimes we'd remember what we said the next morning, but most of the time we just have wonderful talks.
Yeah.
And he was very, very, very good to me in that he sort of understood where I was coming from, but he wanted to, he wouldn't hesitate to say, "You did that wrong."
Right.
And
Yeah,
so
he's
I
honest.
learned quite a lot from Willie.
That's great. Yeah, and he was a great artist. So,
Yes.
he, and
I knew him right from the 70s onwards, too.
yeah. So, do you do any Willie P. Bennett tunes?
Oh, yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
want to do
a
one
few.
now, just for the posterity, or?
Okay, all right. Well, Blackie and the Rodeo King, they were just the best of friends. They've been to every rodeo, ridden every old freight train. Blackie lived idle life trying to figure out the lies that people would tell to her. And the Rodeo King was an Indian who found the bottle, better friend than any old white man. We counted scars on one another as we watched the level of the bottle go around. And Blackie was a beauty, though why she was very hard to tell. And the faces the Lord puts on us are the actions of a heart that love can fill. Heart to heart, they're together now, Blackie and the Rodeo King. Through 30 years of fighting with the Brahmas and the horses and the women, Blackie picked him up one night, lying with his face down in the gutter. With her heart on her sleeve that was tailored by the street, she knew that she must talk to him. And the stories that he told her were enough to hold her and for her to hold on to him. We counted scars on one another as we watched the level of the bottle go around. And Blackie was a beauty, though why she was very hard to tell. And the faces the Lord puts on us are the actions of a heart that love can fill. Heart to heart, they're together now, Blackie and the Rodeo King.
Thanks for humoring me on that. I mean, I've always enjoyed
I
Willie P.
used to do that with the 5-string banjo, and
Right.
so
Yeah.
I
Well,
can
that's
do it better.
and that's I guess where the band got their name from that
Yep.
song, right? Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah,
If,
for sure.
for the listeners out there, viewers, you check out Blackie and the Rodeo Kings, a fantastic group, and
They are. I saw them about a month ago, and they were just incredibly good.
Yeah, and that's quite an honor to be able to have played with and shared space with Willie P too. Yeah,
Yeah,
good for you.
we
Right
had good times. But I have a song I wrote about my good friend and really the guy that got me into the music business in the first place, Reverend Ken Ramson. Ken and I, we, as I said, I wrote songs and he put melodies to them and sang them. And that started out my career. And we traveled all over North America playing on the street. And that was pretty much where it came to me that this is what I had to do. Because we'd be out on the street, some rotten downtown, some big city, and people would be pretty grim. And we'd start playing, and the crowd would gather, and they'd start laughing, and suddenly we would have sort of a party going on the street.
Something
And
happened.
it was just
Yeah.
like we're filling the grimness with joy, and that's been my job ever since.
Well, it just
And,
takes something like that to find your calling, so to speak. Something
I'm lucky.
that really
There's
inspires.
not too many people can find their calling.
Yeah.
At any rate, Reverend Ken, he is famous for changing the Constitution of Canada. He made an amendment to the Constitution of Canada because he was caught postering. And we all know back in the day, the only way you could advertise your gig was putting a poster up on a post. Now we've got Facebook and all that stuff. But still, postering is important. And he was charged $35 for putting up a poster in Peterborough. And he fought it all the way to the Supreme Court of Canada. And he won it. And they made an amendment to the Constitution that says it is legal for Canadians to put up posters on public property.
Excellent.
And so if you have a cop telling you can't do that, you say, well, what about Ramsden versus the city of Peterborough? Did you look into that? So I'm very proud of Ken, and so I wrote him this song all about his great change to the Constitution. Well, it was down at the Red Oak Inn when they caught that Reverend Ken. He was putting up a poster for a show. Well, it took a lot of cruisers to arrest this commie bruiser. He was cuffed into the jailhouse, he did go. But didn't he win, Reverend Ken? Didn't he win, Reverend Ken? When he fought City Hall, thought he'd have no chance at all. Didn't he win that Reverend Ken? There was a gal named Dorothy Meade, ignorant in thought and deed, the despot of our local BIA. She used to tear down all our posters. She thought she was supposed to make artists and musicians go away. But didn't he win, Reverend Ken? Didn't he win, Reverend Ken? When he fought City Hall, thought he'd have no chance at all. Didn't he win that Reverend Ken? Well, we were trying to make a living, and them bankers weren't forgiving all the debts that we had to pay. Posters tell the where and when, and thanks to Reverend Ken, we'd have big crowds at the gigs that we would play. But didn't he win, Reverend Ken? Didn't he win, Reverend Ken? When he fought City Hall, thought he'd have no chance at all. Didn't he win that Reverend Ken? Well, they took our man to court, and I'm happy to report that the Reverend fought the city all the way. The Court of Appeal ruled our grievances were real, so Canada's highest court would have its say. Well, didn't he win, Reverend Ken? Didn't he win, Reverend Ken? When he fought City Hall, thought he'd have no chance at all. Didn't he win that Reverend Ken? Now it was March of '93 that he won a guarantee for the right to poster in our Constitution. Well, the ruling was unanimous. We drank beer and we smoked cannabis to celebrate this fair landmark solution. 'Cause didn't he win, Reverend Ken? Didn't he win, Reverend Ken? When he fought City Hall, thought he'd have no chance at all. Didn't he win that Reverend Ken? Well, didn't he win that Reverend Ken?
That's great. I love it.
Yeah, when I sang that, the ladies sang the Reverend Ken part, and then the men sing the Reverend Ken part.
Right.
And so it's kind of like a church meeting sort of a thing.
Yeah, and it's a crowd rouser. You can get people singing along, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating that he went all the way to the Supreme Court to change the Constitution. That's incredible, right? Yeah.
And the city of Peterborough had to pay the legal fees, which were well over $200,000. So they didn't. Not only did they not get their $35, it cost them $200,000 to try to get their $35. But Reverend Ken is playing around the corner at the Robbie Burns night, and it's time for me to go get my kilt on and go sing, "There was a soldier, a Scottish soldier." So thanks so much for doing this, Robert.
Thank you. And have you ever been out to Nova Scotia?
Yes, I have. And frankly, I didn't do very well in the bars because I didn't know who in the world I was.
Right.
And perhaps if we come out again, we'll have a bit more success.
Well, we'll definitely work with you on that one for sure. If you ever decide to come out this way,
Great.
we'd love to have you. And thank you for hanging out online here with us and doing the Songwriters from Here and Away.
Well, my wife, Sweet Muriel, her family is all from Halifax area. So if I get out there, I'll have about 63 people I can visit.
Excellent. Well, then you can stay for a month or two. Okay.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Washboard
Thank you.
Hank.
Bye.
Check it out, washboardhank.net. Hank had to leave. We got started a little bit late, and he's got a gig, so we're going to play a few more tunes of his recorded work. This one is live concert session, and I'll let him tell you all about it.
Well, there's a song about a little town in Canada called Tweed, Ontario. It's just like any little town in Canada, except for the fact that Elvis Presley lives there. It's true. Elvis Presley faked his death, and he moved to Tweed, Ontario, and he bought a gas station. So if you want to go to Tweed, you can get Elvis to check your oil. It's true. Well, Elvis is dead. He's living down in Tweed. Yeah, Elvis isn't dead. He's living down in Tweed. It's a friendly little town. It's got everything you need. It's got a brewer's retail. It's got a petrol can. Got a real bad Chinese restaurant and a real good Sally Ann. But Elvis isn't dead. He's living down in Tweed. Now there ain't much to do in Tweed. I guess that's just okay. We'll go swimming in the lake on any summer's day. When the weekend comes around, well, we all go downtown, 'cause we just might see Elvis hanging around. Yeah, Elvis is dead. He's living down in Tweed. I'll pick it, Scotty. When the winter comes around, we'll get our snowmobiles. They're just like motorcycles, but they ain't got no wheels. We'll go out on the lake just to take a spin, and if the ice is thin, Elvis falls in. Yeah, Elvis is dead. He's living down in Tweed. Oh, pick it again. In the summer, we got baseball. In the winter, we got hockey. You'll see Elvis in the crowd. He's getting kinda stocky. All the boys want to move to Alberta, and the girls wear hockey jackets. There ain't much to do in Tweed, no matter how you stack it. But Elvis is dead. He's living down in Tweed. Oh, Elvis is dead. He's living in Tweed.
That's Washboard Hank and his trio at a festival. And we were talking earlier about his kitchen sink tuba, and this is a song that features that, and it's obviously pretty tongue-in-cheek.
I love the wave of your wooden hand and the smile you wear like a sign. You know that I would give anything if only you would be mine. But another man beside you sits in a tuxedo wearing spats. I love you, Queen Elizabeth, 'cause you wear stupid hats. I've seen your face on my postage stamp. I oft times use my tongue. A nice hairdo and a stupid hat, it makes you look so young. But another man beside you sits in a tuxedo wearing spats. I love you, Queen Elizabeth, 'cause you wear stupid hats. Thank you all so much.
I Love You, Queen Elizabeth by Washboard Hank. And we have time for one more tune on Songwriters from Here and Away. My name's Robert Campbell. I thank you for having us in your ears today. And this last tune is called Train Yards.
If you hung around the train yards like I have, if you ever rode a freight train through the night, if train sounds through the distance tug your heartstrings, you know that killing off the railroads just ain't right. The railroad is what made this land a nation. It's our Constitution bound in wood and steel. We don't need big words put down on paper. We just need a link that's strong and real. It's the small towns and the backyards of this country that truly keep this country strong and free. Big cities with their crazy ways of living, they just don't get the job done honestly. But if you hung around the train yards like I have, if you ever rode a freight train through the night, if train sounds through the distance tug your heartstrings, you know that killing off the railroad just ain't right. No, killing off the railroad just ain't right.